Okay, I want to start with the exact moment I know you know. It's the 20th of the month. You open your banking app almost out of habit, and you already feel your stomach tighten before the number even loads. And then there it is, way lower than it should be. And you just sit there for a second thinking, wait, how? We make good money now. We got the raise. On paper, we're doing fine. So why does it feel like I'm always one surprise away from panic? If that's you, I need you to hear me before we go one more sentence. It is not because you're bad with money. It is not because you're lazy or irresponsible or blowing it all on lattes and Target runs. You are not failing. You are stuck inside something that almost every family I know is stuck inside right now. And today, I'm going to name every single piece of it out loud. Because once you can see it, it stops feeling like a character flaw and starts feeling like a problem you can actually solve. I'm Alora, and I have felt this exact thing in my own kitchen, at my own counter, holding my own phone. So let's talk about why you still feel broke, even on a good income. Let me just validate the strangeness of it first, because I think that's the part that messes with your head the most. 10 years ago, if someone had told you your household would be making what you make now, you would have thought you'd feel rich. You pictured breathing room. You pictured not flinching at the grocery total. And instead, the number went up and the feeling never came. The raise landed and somehow the account is just as tight as it was before, maybe tighter. And when the outside says you should be comfortable and the inside says, I'm scared to check my balance, that gap is exhausting. It makes you feel a little crazy. It makes you feel guilty, like you must be doing something wrong that everyone else has figured out. You're not crazy, and you haven't missed some secret memo. There are real, concrete, boring reasons this happens, and I'm going to walk you through all of them. The first one is the one nobody warns you about, and it's the sneakiest. It's called lifestyle creep, and it is the reason your raise disappeared like it was never there. Here's how it actually works in real life. You get a raise. Let's say your take-home goes up by $400 a month. Amazing, right? But you don't sit down and go, great, that $400 is going straight into savings. Nobody does that, and I don't want you to feel bad that you didn't. What happens instead is quieter. You finally stop driving on those tires you've been nervous about. You upgrade the phone that's been dying. You start getting the good olive oil, the one that doesn't taste like nothing. You add one more little streaming thing because the kids asked. You say yes to the birthday party gift without doing the math. None of these are dumb. None of them are wasteful. Each one is a completely reasonable, even loving decision. But add them all up and that $400 has a job now. It got absorbed. Your whole life just quietly leveled up to match the new income. And it happened so gradually you never felt the moment it slipped away. So the raise is real, but the relief never arrives because your expenses climbed right up the ladder next to it. This is not you being greedy. This is just what humans do. But naming it is the first step, because you can't put a raise to work if you don't catch it before your life spends it for you. Now let me talk about the big invisible one, kids. And I say this as a mom of two, one who's 4 and a baby, so believe me, I am not here to say kids aren't worth every penny. They are the whole point. But we do not talk honestly enough about what they actually cost. And I mean the real day-to-day drip, drip, drip cost that never shows up on any single scary bill. Childcare is the obvious giant. Depending on where you live, full-time daycare for one kid is running somewhere between $1,100 and $1,600 a month right now, and that's per kid. If you've got 2 little ones in care, you are basically paying a second rent or a second mortgage every single month just so you can go to work. Let that sit for a second. You are working, in part, to afford the childcare that lets you work. That's not a personal failure. That's the math of the country we live in right now. But childcare is the loud cost. It's the invisible ones that really do the damage to how you feel, because you can't even point to them. It's the $9 here and the $14 there. The field trip permission slip that also needs a check. The class Valentines for 22 kids. The soccer registration and then the cleats, and then the shin guards, and then the team snack week that's somehow your week. It's the fact that your 6-year-old's feet grow 2 sizes a year, so the shoes you just bought don't fit by spring. And kids' shoes that actually last are $40 a pair now. It's the birthday parties, not even yours, other kids, where you're spending $25 on a gift and a card almost every other weekend. None of these is big enough to notice. That's the trap. Each one is small enough that you swipe your card without a second thought. But there are dozens of them every single month, and together they're a fire hose. You feel it as this vague, constant leak, this sense that money just evaporates, and you can't figure out where. It's the kids. Not because they're doing anything wrong, because childhood in America is 1,000 tiny transactions, and you're the one holding the card. All right, reason number 3, and this one is genuinely not your fault at all. Inflation quietly ate your raise. I want to be really clear about what's happened over the last several years, because it explains so much of that "I make more but have less" feeling. Prices on the stuff you can't avoid. Groceries, rent, gas, insurance, everything essential have climbed hard. A family grocery run that used to be $120 is easily over $200 now for the same cart. Feeding a family of 4 real food is $1,000 a month, often more. And that's not fancy. That's chicken and milk and cereal and fruit. So think about what that means. Say you got a raise that felt like a real bump. But if the cost of everything you buy went up just as much, or more, then your raise didn't actually make you richer. It just barely kept you in the same spot. More dollars, same buying power, sometimes fewer. So when you feel like you're running as fast as you can and staying in exactly the same place, you are literally right. That's not in your head. Your income number went up, and the price of being alive went up to match it, and nobody sent you a memo saying, "By the way, your raise was mostly imaginary." I'm telling you now, that feeling is real and it's math, not weakness. Let me pause right here, because if any of this is already making you exhale a little, if you're sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, it's not just me," go ahead and hit subscribe. Truly. I make a new video for moms like us every single week, all about money and real life and getting a little more breathing room without anybody making you feel small about it. That's the whole channel. So if this feels like your people, come be one of my people. Okay, let's keep going because we're just getting to the good stuff. Reason number 4, you don't have a system, so money leaks out in 100 tiny places at once. And I don't mean that as a criticism. Most of us were never taught a system. We were taught spend less than you make, and then sent out into a world that is engineered, and I mean deliberately engineered, to make spending as frictionless and invisible as possible. Your card is saved on every website. One tap and it's bought. No cash leaving your hand. No moment of, do I really want this? When there's no system, no plan for where money goes before it goes, then every single dollar is making its decision in the moment, at the point of temptation, when you're tired and the kid is melting down, and it's just easier to say yes. And here's the thing about 100 tiny leaks. No single one feels like the problem, so you never fix any of them. And together, they sink the boat. You go looking for the one big mistake you made, the villain, and there isn't one. It's the absence of a plan letting 100 small yeses through the gate. A system isn't about restriction. A system is just deciding once, ahead of time, when you're calm, so you're not deciding 50 times a day when you're depleted. Which brings me perfectly to reason number 5, and this one is so real for moms specifically. The mental load. Decision fatigue. You are the household's project manager, and nobody's paying you for it. You are tracking the doctor's appointments and the permission slips and whose turn it is for snacks and what's for dinner and whether you're out of diapers and when the library books are due. Your brain is running 40 browser tabs at all times. And here's what that does to your money. When you are that mentally maxed out, spending becomes the release valve. You buy the convenience because you cannot manufacture one more decision or one more ounce of effort. You get the takeout. Not because you're lazy, but because it is 7 o'clock, everyone is starving, and the thought of cooking and then cleaning is more than your nervous system can take. You pay for the grocery delivery because dragging 2 kids through the store might actually break you. You buy the thing that saves you 20 minutes because you have 0 minutes. This isn't weakness. You are spending money to buy back time and energy that you have completely run out of. The problem is, it's expensive, and it's invisible. And it compounds. But you have to understand where it's coming from, because you cannot budget your way out of burnout. Sometimes the money problem is actually a "you are doing too much and you're exhausted" problem, and it deserves compassion, not a spreadsheet lecture. Reason number 6, phantom subscriptions, and the slow creep of recurring. Okay, I want you to actually do this after the video. Go look at your subscriptions, all of them, and I promise you will find at least one you forgot you were paying for. This is one of the most common quiet leaks there is. The streaming service you signed up for to watch one show and never canceled. The app that charges you $80 a year that you used twice. The free trial you meant to cancel and it rolled into $11.99 a month 14 months ago. The kids game with the auto-renewing pass. The meditation app you downloaded during a hard week. Individually, they're small. That's the whole design. $9.99, $14.99, $6.99. Nobody cancels over $10. But stack up 6 or 8 of these and you're bleeding out $60, $80, $100 a month for things you are not even using. And they don't even register as spending anymore because they just happen. They pull automatically in the background while you're living your life. It's not that you decided to waste that money. It's that you decided once, a long time ago, and never got a chance to decide again. That's phantom spending, and finding it is honestly one of the easiest wins there is. Number 7, and this one's more of a heart thing than a math thing. Comparison, keeping up. And it is so much worse now than it used to be, because we don't just compare to the neighbors anymore. We compare to the entire internet, curated and filtered, and showing us only the highlight reel. You're scrolling at 11 at night, and there's the mom with the perfectly organized pantry with the matching containers, and the family taking the Disney trip, and the kid's birthday party that looks like a magazine spread, and the other family that just did a kitchen renovation. And you don't consciously think, I need that. It's more subtle. It just slowly resets what you think normal is. It makes you feel a half step behind, like everyone else got the manual you didn't. And so you spend. On the party, on the trip, on the thing. Not out of joy exactly, but out of this quiet pressure to not be the family that's falling behind. Here's what I have to remind myself, and I'll remind you. You are comparing your actual, real, messy, behind-the-scenes life to everybody else's carefully chosen highlight. That mom with the perfect pantry might be drowning in debt to look that way. You have no idea. The comparison isn't just unfair, it's rigged. And it will keep your account empty forever if you let it decide what you buy. Reason number 8, debt payments eating your income before you ever see it. This one is sneaky because it happens off-screen, before the money even feels like yours. Think about it. The car payment, $500, $600 a month now for a normal family SUV. The student loans that came back. The credit card minimums, where you're paying 20-something% interest and barely touching what you actually owe. Maybe a personal loan, or the buy now, pay later stuff that's split across 4 apps so you can't even keep track of it. Add all that up, and a big chunk of your good income is spoken for before it's warm. It gets skimmed right off the top, so the number you actually get to live on is way smaller than your salary suggests. On paper, you make good money. In reality, after debt takes its cut, you're running your whole household on what's left. And what's left doesn't feel like a good income at all. And the cruelest part is the interest. You can be paying hundreds of dollars a month and watch the balance barely move because so much of it is just feeding the interest. That's not you being irresponsible. That's a system that's very, very good at keeping you paying. Just seeing clearly how much of your income is already claimed before you touch it. That alone can explain the entire mystery of where your money went. Number 9, and this is the one that wrecks the normal month. Lumpy, irregular expenses. Here's the lie we all tell ourselves. We think of our spending as this smooth, steady, same every month thing. But life is not smooth. Life comes in lumps. The car needs brakes. That's $800 out of nowhere. Back to school hits, and suddenly it's supplies and clothes and backpacks and shoes. $300, $400 in a week. The holidays roll around, and between gifts and travel and food, you're down $1,000 or more, and you knew it was coming. It comes every single year, and it still somehow blindsides the budget. The dentist says the kid needs a thing insurance doesn't cover. The AC dies in July. None of these is your fault, and none of them is technically a surprise. Cars need repairs. Kids go back to school. December is always December. But because we don't plan for them, every single one lands like a crisis and blows up an otherwise fine month. And then you feel like a failure for a month that was never actually normal to begin with. It just got hit by one of the lumps that were always coming. The problem isn't the expense. The problem is that we keep being shocked by things that happen every year. And reason number 10, the last one, and maybe the most tender, emotional spending. Spending to soothe yourself when you are completely depleted. Look, you are pouring out all day. For the kids, for your partner, for your job, for everyone. And at some point, your body just quietly asks for something back, something that's yours. So you order the thing at 11 p.m. after everyone's finally asleep, in the 20 minutes that actually belong to you, and it feels like a tiny act of self-care. A little hit of, I exist too. Or you're stressed and overwhelmed and the online cart is right there, and buying something gives you this small flicker of control and comfort when everything else feels heavy. I do this. I have done this. It is so human. And I refuse to shame you for it, because the spending isn't the real issue. The emptiness underneath it is. You're trying to fill a real need with the tool that's easiest to reach at midnight. The answer is never to beat yourself up about it. The answer is to notice it with kindness, to see the pattern, and to slowly find other ways to give yourself something back that don't cost $40 and a fresh wave of guilt in the morning. Okay, take a breath with me. That was a lot, and I know some of that stung because it's real. But here's the whole reason I laid all of it out. I wanted you to see clearly that not one of those 10 things is you're bad with money. Every single one is a system, a design, a pressure, or a season. It's the world, not your character. And that matters enormously because you cannot fix a problem you think is a personal flaw. You just carry the shame around. But a system problem? That you can actually do something about. So let's talk about what actually helps. Not just budget better. I promised you I'd never say that garbage, and I meant it. Real things. The first thing, and it sounds almost too simple. Name it out loud. Say the true number. So many of us keep the fear vague on purpose because looking directly at it is scary. So we just carry this low hum of dread instead. But the vague fear is so much worse than the actual facts. When you sit down and say, out loud or on paper, okay, we bring in this much, and here's what's actually going out, the monster shrinks. It becomes a set of numbers you can move around instead of a shapeless cloud following you all day. Naming it is not the scary part. Not naming it is what's been eating you. Second thing, track your spending for just 2 weeks. And here's the rule that makes it work. No judgment. None. You are not trying to catch yourself being bad. You are a scientist collecting data. For 14 days, you just notice where the money actually goes. Don't change anything, don't restrict anything, don't flinch. Just watch. And I promise you'll have a couple of, oh, that's where it goes moments. And they won't be the ones you expected. It's almost never the big dramatic thing you feel guilty about. It's some quiet, ordinary category that's 3 times bigger than you thought. You can't fix what you can't see, and 2 weeks of gentle, honest watching shows you more than any budget app lecture ever will. Third, and this is the big one, the one that changed everything for me. Automate your savings so it happens before you can spend it. Remember reason number 1, where the raise just quietly got absorbed? This is the antidote. You do not save what's left over, because there is never anything left over. That's the whole trap. Instead, you make saving happen automatically, the day after payday, before your life gets its hands on the money. Set up an automatic transfer, even $25, even $50, start wherever you can, that moves into a separate savings account on its own, without you having to be disciplined in the moment. Because willpower at the end of a hard day is a losing bet every time. Automation means you only have to make the good decision once, and then it just keeps happening, quietly, in the background, the same way those subscriptions drain you, except now it's working for you instead of against you. If your job offers a 401k match, that's the same idea and it's free money, so grab whatever match you can. And a Roth IRA is a beautiful little automatic home for savings too. But even if that feels far off, just start the automatic transfer to savings. Pay yourself first, before the money can disappear. Fourth, define your own enough. This one's more soul than spreadsheet, but it might be the most powerful of all, because it's the direct cure for the comparison trap. Sit down with your partner, or just with yourself, and actually decide what a good life looks like for your family. Not the internet's version, not the perfect pantry mom's version. Yours. What actually matters to you? Maybe it's the kids in one activity they love, not 5. Maybe it's Friday pizza night and a paid-off car, and not the biggest house on the block. When you define your own enough, You get this incredible power. You get to stop running a race you never signed up for. You stop spending money to keep pace with strangers on a screen. You get to look at something and genuinely go, "That's nice, but it's not mine, and I'm okay." That piece is worth more than anything you'd have bought. Fifth, give every dollar a job. This is the system we talked about, the thing that plugs the 100 tiny leaks. It's simple. Before the month starts, you decide where your money is going to go, on purpose, instead of watching where it went, by accident. Groceries get an amount. Gas gets an amount. Kids' stuff gets an amount. Fun gets an amount. Yes, fun gets a line, because a plan with zero joy in it will not survive a week. And here's the mindset shift. This is not a cage, it's a permission slip. When you've already decided that there's money set aside for a treat, you get to enjoy it with zero guilt, because it had a job, and it did its job. Giving every dollar an assignment ahead of time is what turns 100 anxious little decisions into one calm one. The money stops leaking because every dollar already knows where it's supposed to be. And the sixth thing, the one that protects everything else. Build a small buffer, so one bad week doesn't blow up your whole life. Remember the lumpy expenses, the breaks, the back to school, the December of it all? A buffer is what stands between you and the panic when one of those lands. And I want to be gentle here, because emergency fund can sound like this impossible mountain when you're already stretched. So forget the mountain. Just start with a small cushion. A few $100s sitting in savings that you don't touch. That little bit of money does something huge for your nervous system. It means when the car does the thing cars do, it's an annoyance instead of a catastrophe. It's the difference between, okay, and lying awake at 2 a.m. doing terrified math. You build it slowly, with that automatic transfer we set up, a little at a time, and every dollar in there is a dollar of peace. This is the whole game, honestly. This is what raising kids and retirement funds at the same time actually looks like. Brick by brick, buffer by buffer. Quietly building something steady underneath your family, even when it feels like you're barely holding on. So let me bring this home, because I really want you to walk away from this feeling lighter than when we started. If you are making good money and you still feel broke, you are not the exception. You are the rule. This is one of the most common experiences there is for families right now, and it is happening to people who are smart and hardworking and doing everything they were told to do. It is not a character flaw. It is not proof that you're bad with money. It is a system problem, a math problem, a season of life problem, and every single one of those is fixable. You don't have to fix it all this week. You don't have to do all 6 things tomorrow. Just pick one. Maybe you set up one automatic transfer. Maybe you cancel one phantom subscription. Maybe you just say the real number out loud for the first time. Any one of those is a real step, and steps add up faster than you think, the same quiet way the little leaks did, except now they're going in your favor. You are doing so much better than you feel like you are. The fact that you sat here for 25 minutes trying to understand this, trying to take care of your family, that's not what a person who's bad with money does. That's what a good mom does. That's you. So here's my ask. If this helped, if you felt seen even a little, please subscribe and stick around, because I make a new video for moms like us every single week. Real money talk, zero shame, always in your corner. We're all just out here raising kids and retirement funds at the same time, and it is so much easier when we do it together. I'll see you in the next one. You've got this, I promise.